Hi, I'm Kat, marketer turned brand storyteller.
And I'm Candice, educator turned entrepreneur.
And you're listening to
Not Nice, Clever.
We're two introverts who speak on stages around the country and work with top personal brands who also unapologetically require 24 to 48 hours of recovery time on the couch in our favorite sweats. All Netflix and no chill.
And to be clear, we're not quiet or nice. Together, we're redefining what it means to be an introvert who means business. It's time to show up and show off. Are you in? In today's mini episode of Not Nice Clever, we're actually responding to a request from the Clever crew. Tracy watched my Instagram story the other day where I was talking about how sometimes the idea of being worried about being fake online is actually keeping you from stepping into that next new version of yourself, or it's keeping you from allowing for growth. And Tracy said, "Ooh, can you make this an episode on Not Nice Clever?" So here we are, because we love the Clever crew and we love to expand the conversation where it makes sense. So here we are.
Absolutely. We love you guys. And I think for this one, for me, it comes down to what is your intention in wanting to try something different or be someone different or explore a type of business you've never done before. What I have found success in is looking at what my goals are, what the vision is I have for myself a year from now, 3 years from now, a decade from now, 40 years from now, whatever's going to make that version of me proud to accomplish all the things I want to accomplish. I'm going to start figuring out ways to stretch myself and to do some new things. And it's going to be temporarily uncomfortable, but also so is working out. However, I think you felt fantastic after spin class, right, Candice? I'm not doing it for anybody else. I'm not doing it to look cool. I'm not doing it to get ahead of somebody else who I might view or think is my competition. I'm doing it for me. And I think when I do things like that, it's like, oof, like, okay, I'm trying on something new for me. I'm not doing it in comparison to anybody else. That's my reframe about this. What do you think, Candice?
Yeah, it can't be performative. It has to be in alignment with who you are and where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
What I often do with my clients is an exercise, and I talked about this in my story, an exercise called act as if.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you act as if you were the person that you wanted to be. So we're just going to continue acting as if we're in the top 1% of podcasts, right, Kat?
Absolutely. Because we will be eventually.
We will be, exactly. And we might not be there yet. We're at top 2.5
Mm-hmm.
for anyone listening. Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. We're in top 2.5 right now, but we're going to continue to act as if we are where we want to be with our podcast. So what does that mean? That means we're going to be unapologetic about talking about it, sharing it, asking for reviews, asking you to share it with friends, because all of those things that if I were a top 1% podcaster, I wouldn't be embarrassed or ashamed to ask for those things.
Mm-hmm.
That's how a top 1% podcaster would act or would show up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just going to start showing up as that person today.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I do that, I'm getting closer to the place that I want to be. And people start to respond to me with different energy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of this has to do with doing the energy work, which I know sounds really woo-woo, but I got to bring it in.
You're so right, though. I was literally just thinking as you were speaking that a lot of ideas or concepts around worthiness come into play.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that could be we have recorded full episodes on the idea of self-worth, worthiness, deservingness. And it's like, look, y'all, your worthiness, we'll start there, is not based on how you're feeling today. It's simply a fact. Candice has brown hair. Kat's a bottle blonde. Kat and Candice are both worthy, period. So say that to yourself as much as you need to, because I think we've seen it with clients where when they want to aspire for something different or new or more, all of these tapes in our head come back to us saying well, you haven't done it yet. You're not worthy of that. You don't have experience. You don't have the resume. It's like trying to get a job straight out of college and they ask for experience. And it's like, wait, no. The past 12 years, you told me to go to school and then I'd get the job. And they're like, well, we need the experience. And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
That's
such a good example. Part of the problem is that we are conditioned as children to have to pass certain hurdles. There's milestones that have to happen in order for you to be worthy of that job. And I think when you're an entrepreneur, those milestones are very different. And actually, you are the creator of what those markers are for you and for your business.
Mm-hmm.
And because this is kind of uncharted territory,
Yeah.
no one has laid out the perfect blueprint for your business journey, for your entrepreneurship journey. And that can feel scary.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also like the beauty of entrepreneurship, is that you get to define exactly what it is that will be, what your milestones are and how you will achieve them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, going back to something Kat and I always talk about, is you got to get in community with people who've embraced the energy of the place that you want to go and learn from those people.
Yeah, because that it'll help get you out of your head. It'll help keep you in the energy of excitement and curiosity, and that you genuinely have the privilege to forge your own path. That is, Candace and I are both based here in the US. We were born and raised here, and that is not true for everywhere around the world. And we're so lucky to be able to do that, to just wave the magic wand and say, you know what? I'm going to launch a design agency. You know what? I'm going to launch private consulting. You know what? I'm going to create this digital program or pod course. Or Candace, you creating the content lab. There's so much excitement and nuance to it, but it is easier to keep that in mind and hold that energy when you are around other people hyping you up too.
Yes. And there's days when I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is this the right thing? But I'm
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by so many people who are like, that's great. Keep doing that. Oh, do less of that. And like, I get to have conversations with human beings who are on a similar journey.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't, then I would be having conversations with people who don't get it. And some of you are having conversations with people who don't get it, and that's holding you back.
Ooh, yeah. I think if we can link those two episodes that we recorded prior, one of them was about outgrowing relationships and then how to end relationships that you've outgrown. Again, very temporarily uncomfortable,
Yep.
painful almost, but necessary.
If you're going to take anything away from this episode, I hope that you actually get a notebook and write down who you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going? Every single day, you get to decide the actions, the thoughts, the mindsets that are going to align to the life that you want. And I always, like today, I was sitting outside. This is a true story. This morning, I was sitting outside on my laptop writing an article for a publication. And I was sitting there writing this article, drinking my coffee. Sugar's outside laying in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Dom's outside working with his headphones in. And I was like, wow, like it's a beautiful day in Southern California.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like living my life, doing things that I love. People care about what I'm have to say, which is why I get to write this article, which is insane to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like literally living my dream life. I don't have a boss. No one is telling me what time I have to be anywhere. The next thing I'm going to do is talk to my friend on our podcast. And that was not my life when I was an educator. I would have been 3 classes in
Right.
already,
Back to
right?
back to
And
back.
back to
Yeah.
back to back and like rushing and every morning and being exhausted every evening. And not that I'm not exhausted, I still am, but in a different way.
Temporary discomfort. Yeah.
Yeah, a different way. And I was just like sitting there so grateful that every time I was scared, maybe not every time, but a lot of times when I was scared, I still made the move. I
Mm-hmm.
still did the scary thing. And that has allowed for people to actually see me as an expert and seek me out. And that can happen for you too, you listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Except that you're still worried about, your cousin thinking you're fake
Mm-hmm.
when they just don't know your heart. They don't know what
Yeah.
your vision is for your life. And they won't be able to until they actually see what that does for you. And it might take a year or 5.
Or 10,
Right.
but
Yeah.
what the timeline doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It's not fake if it's real for you. And if you want it to be real for you, that's all Candace and I care about. So do the things that Candace said, keep the things in mind that we have said. What type of person do you want to be? And write that down. You'll remember it more if you write it down, and you'll begin to rewire your brain to thinking it's possible, because anything is possible. Truly, this is turning into a Disney commercial, I feel like. But it's so true. And I just want to say thank you, Tracy, for asking this question, because this was great. When we hopped on recording, we're like, okay, we've got a couple of minis to do. Where do we start? And Candace is like, I know. We got a great question over the weekend. So thank you, Tracy.
Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow our podcast wherever you listen to audio.
And if you found today's episode valuable, please share it with your friends.
No gatekeeping here. Remember, we love to see our clever crew grow.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.